Hello and welcome to the Sunday version of What's Left. I'm your host, John, here with my friend Brad. We are the punk rock garage band of podcast, adding our voice to the resistance as loudly as we can. On the Derealization Nation Media Network, Trump and his team have picked Mount Kilmar to die on in their standoff with the courts. Elon is entering the find out stage. Bernie does a Bill fucking Murray at the Coachella, and police violence claims another victim. So we'll start with Trump versus Supreme Court, Brad. Fucking today, they continue to refuse to cooperate with the orders of the federal court in Maryland, uh, giving an update today that said no update. So just childish shit. Of course, the Supreme Court ruled that basically the Trump organization or institution, whatever the hell you want to call this thing, the Trump people had to facilitate the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, uh, post haste, basically, and provide some information along the way as to where he was, what his status was. So they told us that he's alive and that he's in El Salvador. And then a bunch of posts from Trump and others are suggesting that basically that he's in a sovereign country now, and there's nothing that they can do to touch him, which seems like a pretty bitchy position for a supposed world power. Don't you think?
You would think that Trump, getting all this respect that he gets from all these foreign countries, he could just make a phone call and Mr. Garcia would be here before sunrise.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the Supreme Court used the word facilitate, which essentially means that they just don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think too, like we were talking about before the show. I think that's the Supreme Court's way of avoiding an outright constitutional crisis, is they just keep giving these little obvious loopholes for the Trump administration to fucking jump through and not have to, own up to any of their fucking bullshit. They keep coming back to the Supreme Court for answers, and clearly that's the only court that Trump thinks he has to listen to.
They basically said that the regime is not required to go get him. They are required to change his immigration status if he makes it back to America.
Yeah, and they don't feel that they have to play any part whatsoever in helping him get there.
Yes, whether or not he gets home is entirely dependent on the El Salvadorian president.
Yeah. It says a federal court cannot compel the executive branch to engage in any mandated act of diplomacy or incursion upon the sovereignty of another nation. So basically, that's what they're saying. This is somehow compelling them to engage in some diplomacy. And what the fuck is that about?
We can actively just force them to take prisoners, but we can't go get the wrong ones back.
Right. We're paying them. This isn't this is diplomacy. I mean, it's ridiculous on its face. But you know what? I don't know. Maybe their game plan is to keep delaying these cases for 4 years, because they did a hell of a job delaying every case that came out against this man before. And even though he was clearly guilty in every single one of them, and we had just nations of evidence against the man, couldn't get it to court because they just kept playing games exactly like this. And it is all of the same people now, Brad, who are in this organization. It's all the same lawyers. Are his lawyers now working for him in the government? It's his defense attorneys. The same idiots who got him out of this problem in the first place.
He knows that they could tie people up in litigation, and keep asking for extensions and doing whatever they want to do to just prolong it as long as possible.
Yeah.
Until it's forgotten.
Yep.
Until our voices are no longer loud about the situation.
Yeah. So we'll find out Tuesday. There's another hearing to assess the steps officials are taking to arrange for Abrego Garcia's return. So we'll see how that goes. I don't expect that to go well, to be honest with you.
Me either. I don't see anything changing.
Absolutely not.
I don't see this administration suddenly caring about people.
No, I think we got a pretty good and clear idea of how they feel about folks in general. I don't think they're gonna change their mind all of a sudden. I commented on that about one of those Doge things that somebody was making a comment. I said, it's a lie. I mean, I don't expect them to start telling the truth now. Like
Yeah.
why would we expect them to start telling the truth now? And of course it is. So that's a good segue because I want to talk a little bit about Elon Musk. Uh, Elon, of course, is even though he's not allowed to make TV interviews and show what a jerk he is on television anymore, he's still obviously quite active within the organization, um, but has been cut out, much like Scott Bassett and a lot of the other people from the tariff decisions. But they're still in there making their cuts. But Elon is certainly beginning to find out where he stands, and that $270 million apparently doesn't buy you access. I guess he's missing a piece of the card. So you found like the paid subscription part of his. I don't know. He's run out. He's run out.
The
He
free
also
trial is over.
free trial's over, man. It's time. It's time to renew your subscription. It's so I don't know. It's pretty funny though to watch him struggle. A lot of the people in Trump's cabinet now have been leaking about how much they despise the man and how unfunny he is, and just says awkward things and expects you to laugh. So I guess we're in this situation because people wouldn't laugh at his jokes. Like he had to buy Twitter, create bots that thought he was funny, and then force himself on people because he thought the cancel culture was the reason people weren't laughing at his jokes. But in reality, people weren't laughing at him because he's a fucking dope and not funny.
Yeah. Like, imagine that, brother. All that money in the world didn't buy you a personality.
I know it's probably hard to imagine being that rich and having that many sycophants, but I mean, talk about a man who created his own best friend on Twitter to tell him what a good dad he is.
Dude, that's all it is. That Twitter is just a praise room for Elon Musk.
It's nothing but nothing
It's
but.
crazy to me. It's hilarious that he's like so offended.
I
The
know
guy who said empathy was for the weak, and he's like, I wish these people would just be nice to me.
Tim Walz is so mean. I don't think anybody's ever accused Tim Walz of being mean.
Yeah, I worked so hard to change the outcome of this election. Everybody should love me.
Right. Gee, all I'm doing is just gutting fucking everything that people hold dear and firing people, and I should just be beloved. Whatever.
One
So
thing I know about the internet is that it's undefeated, bro. It is undefeated. The internet does not lose, and they
yeah.
don't give a shit who you are. If the opportunity presents itself, the blows will be dealt. The blows
Yeah.
will be dealt, and that's what he's dealing with right now.
Bro, can we talk about the live stream that he did in flying back on the airplane?
Bro, they bullied the fuck out of him.
Bullied him so bad. He rage quit in the middle of it. Or also, equally as likely, his garbage fucking equipment just kicked the shit out on him. Either way, it's entirely possible. But he did suddenly disappear from the chat. I just, oh my god, these have been read. They're out there, but the more they're out there, the better. So I'm just gonna. So during less than 5 minutes into the live stream, a player logged on and asked Musk if he could please jerk off Mr. Trump so he dies of a heart attack. That's how it started. That's what got the ball rolling. It didn't get any better. The use of names like Elon is a pedophile and Elon Musk is pathetic. I mean, they did the really the heart. I mean, some of the shit that people say on those video game chats is way out of line.
Yeah.
And no exception. They definitely did not hold back. So some of the more PG versions are you have no friends and you will die alone. You will always feel secure and that will never go away.
Yeah.
Elon is me, Ashley St. Clair. I have no other means of contacting you about your child support. Oh, get out of here.
I'm telling you, the internet does not miss, dude.
They do not. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
fucking
And they're
funny.
so quick with it too. The internet will immediately take something that moment and turn it into a meme. You will get memed off the face of the internet, brother.
Yeah, he truly has become mean.
Yes, he has become meme, bro.
It's how is it possible to look this dumb and ugly? And why is your Tesla company falling apart? What happened, buddy? You know these kids are like fucking 12, probably. You know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they're not. They're not. They're just little kids.
yeah.
Oh,
They just think it's hilarious that cars are catching on fire. They don't even know what's going on. They're just like, Tesla's burning to the ground.
he's stuck at this. They know he cheats on video games. They know that it's fire. All they know. That's all they care about. They don't. They don't know what social security is.
Right? They have no clue.
They're just getting there in social studies.
They're like, we just know that Elon uses aim assist on Call of Duty, and we've had enough.
Fucking unbelievable. So good. You see, well, let's talk about Bernie Sanders and AOC drew that huge crowd in Los Angeles. Early estimates were like 35,000, but they were saying there's more like 60,000 people in the area just swarming around trying to get a taste of just the energy. And I just think that's incredible, man. Like just random show ups. And then, I called it in the opening, I called it like, the Bill, like Bill fucking, like he just popped up like Bill Murray does, just randomly popped up at Coachella, which I
Yeah,
just, great, man.
had the people on their feet. They were excited to see him.
Oh, yeah. And they were not, I mean, he said Trump's name and boy, they fucking, whew, they did not sound like, he won the youth vote by 1 million votes or whatever he said that he won him by.
Yeah,
No.
who knows how that went? But if the people weren't so anti-democrat, like if there weren't people that were just so anti-democrat, the
Yeah.
message that they're preaching is the message that you want. It's what you want. But y'all are just so Republican or so anti-democrat that you're not willing to listen to AOC because you think that you saw a meme one time that said AOC was rich and now she's just part of the corruption.
Yeah.
However, she's not, and she's actively fighting against corruption and trying to make it so they can't keep doing insider trading. Like, what do you mean? How do you see AOC and be like, that one's corrupt? Shut
Yeah.
up, you idiots!
I'll tell you how, Brad. It's called racism.
God,
So,
that's it. It's just so silly to me. Like AOC is the one that y'all should be supporting.
right.
Like, oh, let's stop the corruption, and AOC is like, deal, let's do that. And then like, fuck AOC, dude, fuck her.
Not her. Yeah.
Yeah,
Another piece of that too, I think, is just there's just the right wing media uh, ecosystem in this country has just been much stronger for much longer. The mainstream talking points begin to the right. Like no matter what you're talking about, you're always starting off a conversation on the right. Even when you talk about Israel and Gaza, like you start off talking about, well, protecting yourself from terrorism and terrorists and all this, and all of those things, while legitimate, are not the immediate issue right now. Like the threat of terrorism from Gaza right now is next to nothing. We're fighting children,
yeah.
fighting unarmed civilians with giant bombs. Like this is not this is and so the fact that we even have to we all disagree with the actions of October 7th. Obviously, we condemn them. This really goes without saying. But excuse me, you've blown the entire nation away searching for a terrorist organization. It's not. It is no longer. It's no longer equal. There's nothing. There's nothing really. There should be nothing controversial about that. You
Yeah,
know.
they turned Gaza into a parking lot.
Just as one example, one hot button example of how far to the right the basis of our conversations is. Like we can't even begin to talk about how many children are killed because October 7th. Well, okay, October 7th. It was terrible. Hostages, I get it. But I mean, also they have hundreds of maybe thousands of Palestinian prisoners too, who we don't really know exactly who or why they're locked up either. You know, they don't really have the much more information on who these Palestinian prisoners that get released in exchange for hostages are either. Like they say they're terrorists, but you know, we see in the United States like that excuse for terrorism since 2002, since the which is what ICE was invented. You know, is kind of just it's a blanket thing. It's like an excuse for governments to just wipe people out anymore and then to just sweep them off the streets and throw them in wherever the fuck they want to. You know, take them on a really terrible trip to South America. It's out of control, and a lot of people warned about it when it was happening. But I mean, it's just now it's like it's the regular thing. You know, you just around here we're fighting terrorizers, and all them terrorists have to go. And there's any excuse that you have to do to eradicate them is okay. And if you're a terrorist, you know you don't have rights. You just lose everything, and it's just I don't know. It has to end. It has to end somewhere.
Now let's blow up these terrorists, set up a central bank, and get the fuck out of here.
Look how good we did. Basically doing the Christian thing. You know what I'm saying? Level, central bank. See you later.
Oh, it's funny because it's sad.
Oh, it's so sad. And all the USAID stuff that was there to like try to make up for all the garbage that we did and make it so that the people over there didn't hate us for destroying their livelihoods and leaving them alone. Just completely gone now. So yeah. Just want to mention too, the kid who was shot 9 times by police officers, Victor Perez, passed away from his injuries. So just another victim of police violence in this country. So just taking a moment to recognize him and say his name out loud. So the family of Victor Perez, our thoughts, minds, hearts, prayers, and protests are with you. So it's a shame that we have to keep going through this, but I mean, you can't just throw guns at everything anymore.
It's a sad reality we live in.
Yeah. All right. Well, we could talk a little tariffs, but I'm not trying to get into all that today. Let's save that. We got Tuesday to look forward to. We got to do this.
Yeah. If you're listening, all your MAGA merchandise is now more expensive. All of it.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, that's our Sunday show. Thanks for listening. Follow us on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Substack, and YouTube. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell us how we did. We'll see you Tuesday for another short show, and then our big show is Thursday. Until next time, I'm John Wardle.
And I'm Brad.
That's what's left.